You just got pulled over in Arizona. Your heart rate is spiking and your brain is racing. What do I say? What am I required to do? Can they search my car? Most people get this moment wrong. Not because they're doing anything illegal, because they don't know their rights. 1. Sure, you can look around, can turn a routine stop into a felony charge. I'm Richard Suzuki, former federal and state prosecutor, now criminal defense attorney in Phoenix. Today I'm showing you exactly what you're required to do during a traffic stop, what you can legally refuse, and the one answer that protects you every single time. If you drive in Arizona, you need to know this. The moment you see those lights, how you behave in the next 60 seconds matters. Pull over safely and promptly. Don't drive for a long distance looking for a spot. Turn off the engine. Turn on your interior lights if it's dark. Put your hands on the steering wheel where they're visible. Why? Because officers approach every car with an elevated level of caution. Your job in those first seconds is to reduce their anxiety, not increase it. This isn't about being subservient. It's about being smart. An officer who feels threatened is an officer who's looking harder at everything about you and your car. Don't reach for your driver's license and registration before the officer asks. Wait. Keep your hands visible. When they ask, tell them where the documents are before you reach for them. My registration is in the glove box. Is it okay if I reach for it? That's one simple communication makes the encounter safer for everyone. In Arizona, you are legally required to do several things during a traffic stop. 1. Provide your driver's license, vehicle registration, and proof of insurance when asked. These are not optional. Failure to provide them can result in additional charges. 2. Identify yourself if you're the driver. Arizona is a stop and identify state, which means if you're lawfully detained as a driver during a traffic stop, you must provide your name. Passengers are a significantly different position, but practically speaking, identification requests should be complied with. That's essentially the list of what you must provide. Everything else, answering questions about where you're going, where you've been, whether you've been drinking, what's in your car, you are not required to answer. And you can say so politely. Here's a part that people get wrong. They think that refusing to answer questions or refusing to search is going to make the officer angry, make the stop worse, or somehow make them look guilty. Let me address all three of those concerns. Officers may be frustrated. That's not your legal problem. The stop doesn't get worse simply because you exercised your rights. Officers are trained to work within the law, and looking guilty by asserting your rights, that argument cannot be used against you. Invoking your Fifth Amendment right to not answer questions cannot be used as evidence of guilt. Full stop. The formula is simple. Be polite, be calm, and be clear. Something like, Officer, I'm not going to answer questions without an attorney present, or I prefer not to answer questions about that. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain yourself. You just need to be clear. Consent to search. This is the big one. This is the scenario I want you to remember above everything else in this video. The officer says, mind if I take a look in your car? Or, I'm going to need to take a look in your trunk. Or, do you have anything in there I should know about? This is a consent request, and you have the absolute right to say no. If an officer has probable cause to search your car, they smell marijuana, they see something in plain view, they have specific articulable facts supporting the belief that evidence of a crime is present. They don't need your consent. They can search anyway. But if they're asking for consent, it means they probably don't have probable cause. They're hoping you'll give them permission to go looking. And here's the reality. Consenting to a search has never, in the history of law enforcement, resulted in an officer finding something good for you. If there's nothing there, you've given up your rights for no reason. If there is something there, you've handed them a conviction. The answer is always no. Politely, clearly, firmly. Officer, I do not consent to a search of my vehicle. Now, this is important. There are things officers can do without your consent. They can walk a drug detection dog around the exterior of your car as long as it doesn't significantly extend the duration of the stop. If the dog alerts, that gives them probable cause to search. They can look into your car through the windows, anything in plain view, a weapon, open container, drugs sitting on the seat, can be the basis for a search. If they arrest you, the scope of any vehicle search is limited. Under Arizona v. Gantt, police can only search the passenger compartment if you're unsecured and within reaching distance of it, or if they have reason to believe evidence of the crime you were arrested for is in the vehicle as part of that arrest. If they have a valid warrant, rare for roadside stops, but it happens, they can search with specificity. The key takeaways: even if an officer ultimately searches your car over your objection, your refusal to consent is preserved for your defense. If your attorney can later show that the officer lacked probable legal authority to search without your consent, the evidence found might be suppressed. Your no matters even when they search anyway. You have the right to record police officers performing their official duties in Arizona. This includes during a traffic stops. You can use your phone to record the encounter as long as you're not interfering with the officer's job. A few practical tips. Announce that you're recording if you can do so calmly. Don't wave the camera in the officer's face. Keep it steady and visible. If you're pulled over alone, place it near your dashboard where it captures the interaction. This recording protects you. It can corroborate your account of the stop, document anything that goes wrong, and serves as critical evidence if your rights are violated. Arizona conducts DUI checkpoints, and they're legal under both Arizona law and federal constitutional law. The Supreme Court has upheld them. There are rules. The checkpoints have to be publicly announced in advance. It has to follow specific operational guidelines. Officers have to stop vehicles based on a predetermined neutral formula, not their own discretion. At a DUI checkpoint, you still have rights. You must stop and interact with officers. You are required to provide your license and registration, but you are not required to answer questions about whether you've been drinking. You can invoke your right to remain silent. If officers develop individualized suspicion that you're intoxicated during that interaction, they can ask you to pull over for further investigation. That's where field sobriety tests and breathalyzers come in, and that's a whole other video. But the checkpoint level, the same principles apply. Be cooperative on the things you must do and politely decline on the things you don't. If you believe an officer has violated your rights during a traffic stop, an unlawful search, excessive force, unlawful detention, do not argue about it in the moment. Do not resist, comply, stay safe, and document everything you can remember immediately. The officer's name, the badge number, the patrol car, the time and location, exactly what was said. Then call us, Suzuki Law. Constitutional violations at traffic stops can be the foundation of suppression motions that significantly change a criminal case. But they have to be raised properly, at the right time, in the right way. That's what attorneys are for. Traffic stops are one moment in the system, but once you're charged, there's a whole world of work that happens behind the scenes that most people never see and don't fully understand even when they're paying for it. In the next video, I'm going to break down exactly what a criminal defense attorney does, the actual work, the strategy, the investigations, the motions, so you know what you're getting and how to tell the difference between an attorney who's fighting for you and one who's just going through the motions. That's up next.